This is the Brain, and you're listening to the GeekCast Radio Network. Yes!
All aboard the Cartoon Express, the USA Cartoon Express. Traveling east and heading west, it's a great big all that Cartoon Fest.
I'm Hudson here, if you're ready to live.
It's time for cartoons right now, right here.
Well, Cody heads keep things right on track.
With famous cartoon stars writing and back.
Hop on board for the daily run. Animals, cartoony kind of fun. Action, adventure, and all the rest on the USA Cartoon Express.
Hello and welcome to the 67th episode of ToonCast, brought to you by the GeekCast Radio Network. I am your host, TFG1 Mike, and today I'm joined once again by Kevin Optimus Solo Thompson. How are you, sir?
I am fantabulous.
Yes. Today we will be covering the USA Cartoon Express. So what's going on with you, sir?
Oh, geez. Let's see. I've been watching more He-Man, so got 3 more episodes in earlier. I'm going to watch a few more in a little bit.
What are you up to now?
Been meeting some new characters. Let's see. I just had the first episode that had the Snake Men in it, where they kind of made an appearance and then they all got sucked back into the void, except for Cobra Khan and General Rattler. And then I just had the first episode that had Stinkor in it, and I can't remember what the third episode was I watched just a bit ago.
Now, in the first episode, was this the Stinkor episode where he was formed, or just?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. Stinkor in the 2002 series, that was the first time he was ever animated. There was a toy of him back in the 80s, but he was never on the show. So
I remember that. I remember the toy.
Everybody remembers the Stinkor toy. Hello. It had authentic.
Not everybody does. That's cool people.
It had authentic smell action.
It's great stuff. That's for sure. And then I finished reading Exodus, Transformers Exodus, and
yes.
What else have I been doing? More outdoor stuff, since that's my life right now. Doing stuff outside.
Yeah, I'm about through with doing stuff outside.
And I had already told you off air, I forgot. And of course, I went to Target and picked up my first Generations toy. I got the Generations Thrust toy. I didn't pick up the Optimus Prime or the Bumblebee, and that they only had those and the other planes.
Puking, pissing combiners or whatever the hell they are. Power.
They had those, but they had the blue and white Generations plane, that payload or something like that. That's
part of the hunt for the Decepticons line. But yeah.
Yes. I only like the ones that look like G1s, I guess. I don't know. Although I liked Bumblebee's picture of his alien car, Cybertron.
Yeah. You need to pick up the Prime and the Bumblebee. Bumblebee is slowly growing on me. At least the robot mode is. I have yet to get the other one that I bought into car mode because the transformation is extremely difficult. But Bumblebee, it's very funny. He's not like a bright yellow. He's almost kind of like a gold tinge to him. So technically, he could be Goldbug.
Yeah, but he didn't look too bad. The Prime one, I turned around and I'm like, that just looks weird. But the
Prime is awesome. Prime is awesome. Prime is, and I'm kind of giving my ToyCast stuff away here yet. We aren't actually doing more ToyCasts just yet, but we will be. But Prime is pretty much a futuristic armored car / El Camino looking thing. I swear to God, the first time I saw the game design and the first time I saw the toy, I'm like, wow. That's a futuristic El Camino.
Yeah. But, so now I guess I'm going to have to find a new book since I finished that one. I have kind of mixed feelings on that book. But, and then what else did I do? Oh, I just got the Thundercats Season 1, Volume 2, and Season 2, Volume 1 in the mail. So that was a nice little treat. So now I'm only 1 volume away from having that be in a complete series. So it's been an active last couple days.
Yes. And this past week, TV shows on DVD had the announcement that Batman Beyond is going to be getting the complete series treatment, just like the Batman the Animated Series one did, which will be a long box. There'll be a 40-page booklet. There'll be a bonus disc with one additional feature probably. They're pretty much probably going to port over the season set DVDs. That's what they've done with all the DCAU complete series sets, but still, I want that. And guess what? It comes out on your birthday.
Uh-oh.
So you're going to buy me a present on your birthday.
Don't hold your breath on that one. Oh, goodness.
Just a little announcement here, even though this is only episode 67, when we get down to the last, I think it's 6 episodes 93 to 99, Kevin will probably not be on them, because all of them are the DCAU cartoons. As soon as I figured out ToonCast's schedule, and we've had several changes in the actual schedule between episode 1 and episode 93, I had it planned that we would do the entirety of the DC Animated Universe cartoons for the final 6 or 7 episodes. And no, Teen Titans is not in continuity. It is not listed on the Wikipedia article. It is not listed on the DCAU wiki. Bruce Timm doesn't even acknowledge it as a show that exists in the DC Animated Universe. So no, Teen Titans will not be covered on ToonCast. Let's see what else. Like I said earlier, I've got Generations, War for Cybertron, Bumblebee, and Optimus. I bought my first Blu-ray, which was Batman Under the Red Hood. I'm seriously unimpressed with Blu-ray as far as the look and the animation is supposed to be crisper, clearer, see more, and hear more as well. As far as crisper, I see no difference between this and a regular DVD whatsoever. And the only reason why I even got it, and I hope they do not continue to do this because this pisses me off. The only reason why I even got Batman Under the Red Hood on Blu-ray, special feature exclusively on Blu-ray, Robin's Requiem, The Tale of Jason Todd. If they're going to start doing, they could have the Blu-ray version of this is pretty much the 2-disc special edition regular DVD version, except for this exclusive Blu-ray feature that you can only get on the Blu-ray, which is stupid, I think.
They're going to try to weed you off of DVDs one by one. I refuse.
No, I refuse. I'm
happy with the DVDs. I don't need...
The cases are like a half-inch... Let me see here. No, not Justice League Complete Series. You can't compare those. I've got the Supergirl film DVD here, and it's about a half up against the Batman Under the Red Hood DVD, the Blu-ray. It's about, I don't know, maybe 2 inches smaller than a regular DVD case. Mm-hmm. I don't get that. And the other thing that pisses me off about DVD cases now, I know everyone's supposed to be going green and recycling, but DVD cases that incorporate in this, I don't know why they do this, but whether it's Blu-ray or whether it's regular DVD, they incorporate either on one of the two sides the recycling logo of the 3 little holes and then the arrows around it. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, why the hell would you do that? Makes no damn sense. Ugh.
Just to make you angry.
Yeah, apparently so. Yes. Also, look for ToonCast 65 years in the future. That's all I'm going to say about that. Exactly. And yes, I know I just pulled a Forrest Gump reference, so... Yes, 65 years in the future, that's all you people need to know. Because I believe our super fan, Kevin Cooper... Oh boy, I hope he doesn't mind me putting his last name on air. Oh well. He asked... I mentioned in one of the either episode descriptions or one of the Facebook fan page posts or whatever for Geekcast Radio Network that there are only 30-something... Well, as of once we get to episode 70, there'll only be 30 episodes left, and he was like, what am I going to do to get my cartoon fix? I said, don't worry, we'll have something for you. So, yeah, right. Just plan, people. Plan for 65 years in the future.
Oh, I did forget to mention one thing when I was talking about what's up with us lately. We just had kind of we have stats, obviously, every month at BTVA, and we just had our biggest month in July. We had... for the first time, reached 47,000 unique visitors to the site over the course of the month. So that was pretty cool. And we had, I can't remember how many million hits, but 47,000 unique visitors. So we're hoping to break the 50,000 mark here in August.
Awesome. Sweet.
Yep.
What else is going on? I think that's about it. There really isn't too much. I'm currently in the process of rewatching Under the Red Hood because I watched it the day it came out. I rented it through iTunes and I'm rewatching it. I really enjoy it. I think, granted, they've only done 2 specific Batman stories, this and Gotham Knight, but this is easily the best DC Universe original animated film Batman story that they've done. And outside of Kevin Conroy, Bruce Greenwood is A+ Batman voice, and Bruce Wayne as well. At first, I didn't think he was going to be that great. He seriously outperforms Jeremy's fucking Sisto and Adam Baldwin and Billy Baldwin or whoever else played him.
And he just, what was the news that we had that we just posted on BTVA that Bruce Greenwood is, oh geez, let's see, he is, having just played him in Under the Red Hood, he's also playing him obviously on the Young Justice version of Batman. And
oh, awesome.
He just, we have a link to BTVA about his thoughts on it and a little video that you can watch where he's talking about his role as Batman, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, this year at C2E2 in Chicago, and I've mentioned this on several other podcasts, Kevin Conroy did a panel, and he pretty much said that he was told by Warner Brothers Animation and whoever else, all those guys, he said that, he said that they told him, you are the classic Batman voice. When we want that voice, we'll call you. But until then, we're going to get, other people to voice him. And as I said, so far, in my own opinion, Bruce Greenwood is easily the best Batman voice out of all the DC Universe films that they've done so far. I couldn't stand Jeremy Sisto as Batman. It just didn't translate with me. But anyway, I think we are going to get into the history lesson.
All right. The USA Cartoon Express was a popular television programming block of animation on the, of course, USA Network that ran from 1982 to 1996. The Express was the first structured animation block on cable television, predating Nickelodeon's animation blocks by half a decade and predating Cartoon Network by more than a decade. What are your best memories of the Cartoon Express, which basically was our entire childhood?
Yeah. This is actually, we haven't got to Scooby-Doo yet here on ToonCast, but, all the other shows that we've talked about, all the other Hanna-Barbera stuff and everything else, honestly, outside of them being on Boomerang nowadays, back in the day, this is how I caught Scooby-Doo,
oh yeah,
Yogi Bear, pretty much everybody. I mean, once those cartoons went into syndication or whatever, and they put them on this programming block, this is how I watched them. And it was awesome.
Yeah, this is how you caught all your old stuff, and that's what I was going to say about the exact same thing, that this is, for me, memories of the Cartoon Express was watching all of the shows that had either aired years before I was around or watching shows that had already aired on the regular channels that were now being rerun in on Cartoon Express. So basically, it served 2 functions. Either I could watch classic cartoons or I could watch my favorite cartoons again.
Yeah.
And Cartoon Express was great for that.
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
I guess we can kind of get into, the initial
this
lineup and how it
this
changes.
This episode of ToonCast is going to be a little bit different, and I should have mentioned this in the introduction before we get into the history lesson. But since this was a programming block, we really aren't going to have the voice actor segment. I mean, we're going to go into the history of it, and we can mention. We're going to mention the shows. That some of the shows that were on here, but I mean, as far as characters and voice actors, there was a lot of shows in this cartoon block that interchanged all the time.
Yeah, this is a humongous block of shows.
Yeah, this is almost like us getting an interview with Frank Welker. We just don't know what to do with it because it's so large.
Yeah, and if you figured it was a cartoon block, and so you have a number of hours at a time, plus you have it 14 years or 15 years of programming, so that leads to a lot of shows.
Yes, it does. The initial lineup was comprised mostly of reruns from the Hanna-Barbera library. Well-known properties like The Huckleberry Hound Show, Yogi Bear, Space Ghost, and Johnny Quest shared space with lesser-known properties like Willie and the Chopper Bunch. Oh boy. Inch High Private Eye, Dino Mutt Dog Wonder, and countless others, as well as numerous spin-offs. The Flintstones, such as Pebbles and Bam Bam Show. By the end of the decade, a more diverse lineup of cartoons aired on the Cartoon Express, including The Smurfs, G.I. Joe, Transformers, The Real Ghostbusters, Jem, Robotech, Alvin and the Chipmunks, and Scooby-Doo. The narrator in the mid-1980s of the show came on the air with the cheering kids heard in the background was Keith Olbermann, who around that time was also doing sports on New York's old WNEW 11:30 a.m. radio. I completely forgot that Transformers and G.I. Joe and The Real Ghostbusters was in here.
That's what I was talking about when I was talking about watching my favorite shows again, because I definitely remember seeing Transformers on the Cartoon Express.
The only one, and this is going to be very, very sad for me, the only one I remember out of the newer shows in that era watching on the Cartoon Express is Jem.
Nice. See, for some reason, I specifically remember watching Transformers originally on regular channels in the afternoon, and then I remember watching Transformers on the Cartoon Express, and then I remember years later watching them on the Sci-Fi Network or the Sci-Fi Channel when they were playing at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever on the Sci-Fi Channel. But I definitely remember Cartoon Express for those. Like I said, it was either Hanna-Barbera classic stuff for me, or it was stuff like Transformers. I remember Alvin and the Chipmunks and a couple of those other ones. And I too remember Jem being on the Cartoon Express.
Yeah.
I don't remember watching Robotech on the Cartoon Express. I must have missed that.
Yeah. And in 1991, Turner Broadcasting pretty much derailed the Cartoon Express when they purchased Hanna-Barbera and launched Cartoon Network a year later, which took, thus taking a chunk of Cartoon Express programming with it. The only Hanna-Barbera programming remaining on the Cartoon Express were The Smurfs, which stayed until 93, and Scooby-Doo, which stayed until 1994.
Cartoon Network sucks.
I think it's more of Ted Turner sucks. But in the fall of 93, USA moved Cartoon Express from weekday afternoons to weekday mornings, in addition to its Sunday morning lineup, and revamped the entire look of the block from an orange locomotive motif to a silvery bullet train motif.
That's when I stopped watching.
I was going to say, so it's pretty much G1 Astro Train versus Classic Astro Train.
Yeah, when they did that, I lost interest big time. I don't know why. They had lost the classic shows. They redid their look, and it was about the time when I was kind of moving out of cartoons because all the television stations were killing cartoons in the early 90s, basically.
Yeah.
So it's a dark time for cartoons.
Yes, it was. Taking a cue from Nickelodeon's Nicktoons, USA launched numerous original series. The first 2 Cartoon Express original series, The Itsy Bitsy Spider and Problem Child, based on the film franchise, didn't catch on with viewers. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles became the new marquee series on the block. Wow. Wow.
Itsy Bitsy Spider and Problem Child, god awful. Sorry, they're just bad. I agree. Terry Toons and the USA Action Extreme Team. USA later briefly acquired the broadcast rights to Terry Toon shorts like Deputy Dog and Mighty Mouse, and DC Comics related cartoons such as Super Friends. In the fall of 1995, USA revamped the final 2 hours of Cartoon Express as USA Action Extreme Team. This is when it gets really bad.
It sounds like something coming out of Tarantulas' Butt in Beast Wars. But anyway, with the launch of the shows based on the Street Fighter II, Mortal Kombat video game franchises, and Savage Dragon comic book franchise, after the original series and TMNT left the air, the Cartoon Express was revamped into a weekday morning-only all-action block with programs like Mighty Max, Sailor Moon, Street Sharks, and Gargoyles as the primary shows. Oh, God.
Yeah, this when they started doing Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Savage Dragon. Even if I mean, I'd already stopped watching Cartoon Express, but that definitely kept me away. I don't mind Deputy Dog, Mighty Mouse, and bringing some classics back and trying to get that classic feel again, but you can't replace reruns of Transformers, G.I. Joe, Alvin and the Chipmunks, and the Smurfs with Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't do it.
On September 15th, 1996, the Cartoon Express pulled into its last stop when USA Networks had ended animation blocks on all its outlets, including the Cartoon Quest and also Sci-Fi's The Animation Station, ending a franchise that had been staple of the network for 14 years.
Yeah, I will give them credit for lasting longer than most of the other stations did. NBC and ABC and CBS and Fox and all of them had already pulled all their animation, 92, 93, 94.
The exception of The Simpsons.
Well, I mean, like their Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Cartoon Express lasted a little bit longer. I do remember Sci-Fi's The Animation Station, and that's when I think Transformers was being shown on it. They had some weird stuff being shown too, but I think that's when I caught Transformers on the Sci-Fi channel. I don't really remember Cartoon Quest that much. The name sounds familiar, but I don't remember exactly what that consisted of.
Yes. And moving into the actual show, which for this episode is basically an entire list of the Cartoon Express airings, I'm just going to go down this. We're not going to really focus on these too much. I'm going to pick out the ones I remember as far as the good ones. Captain Caveman. Oh, God.
Challenge of the GoBots.
It's fucking knockoffs. Challenge of the GoBots. Dino Mutt Dog Wonder. Flintstones. Flintstone Comedy Hour. The Great Grape Ape Show. Help, It's the Hair Bear Bunch. Hong Kong Fooey. Huckleberry Hound. Inchai Private Eye. Jabberjaw. Laugh Olympics, Magilla Gorilla, Quick Draw McGraw, Wally Gator, Loopy Loop, The New Fred and Barney Show, Pac-Man, Paw Paws, The Pebbles and Bam Bam Show, Scooby-Doo and its various spin-offs, isn't that supposed to say Shark Tales?
No, Shirt Tales. They were like little animals like raccoons and cats and dogs, and they had these little shirts that had the letter of them, and I think they had some type of power in their shirts. It was like kind of like a... biscuits or raccoons or snorks or smurfs type of thing.
Okay, speaking of Smurfs and Snorks, it was all they were also on there. Speed Buggy, Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch. Don't know what the hell that is. Yogi's Gang.
Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch is like a car thing. Wheelie is a car, and the Chopper Bunch they're like souped up cars, like with crazy wheels and stuff.
I wonder if it transforms and sounds like a girl. Oops, sorry, Frank Welker. Yogi's Gang, Yogi's Space Race, and Young Samson and Goliath. Dun dun dun.
Oh my goodness!
Wow,
you did have some other series that ran. I'll mention a few of them, and then we'll get into some of the other trademarks of Cartoon Express. But you had Adventures of the Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario Brothers 3, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Cops, awesome show there. Dennis the Menace, Denver the Last Dinosaur, another awesome show. Dino-Saucers, Fat Albert, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, JC and the Wheeled Warriors, Gem, Mr. T, The Real Ghostbusters, She-Ra, and Sonic the Hedgehog, Superman and Batman Adventures, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turbo Teen, Voltron, and The Woody Woodpecker Show. I mean, this lineup is frickin' ridiculous. I know they didn't have them all at once, but talk about some absolutely incredible shows that they featured.
I didn't even know that Mario 3 was on the Adventures of Mario 3 were on there. Holy crap.
I mean, they just had everything. And I guess we should talk about a few of the trademarks because I kind of skipped over one of them, but the conductor.
The conductor. That was awesome.
The unofficial host of USA Cartoon Express. I mean, there was certain things that you just knew you were watching the Cartoon Express. One was obviously the train, which was better when it was in its original version.
Yes.
2 was the conductor, which was Hudson the polar bear. A white, goofy, obviously he's white polar bear, but goofy with a little pink shirt on and everything. And then the other things that you always knew were the bumpers and the shorts and just the introduction and outro type stuff that they used.
Yep.
They don't always necessarily have names for it, but I know for a fact that in a minute, in a minute, in a minute, in a minute, that stuck with me all the time. Like I didn't necessarily care for the shorts, but I loved the little intro part.
Yeah, the in a minute thing was the intro and outro are the best part about it because if you think about it nowadays, those things are so freaking. I mean, yeah, it's a good thing, but like there was one that you linked to me in the Skype chat here where it was a thing for dentistry in Chicago, Illinois, and I'm thinking there is no way in hell that dentist office is still at that address.
Right. It's basically like little PSA type things
Yeah.
and whatnot, but I just love the little animation and the way they did that in a minute. That part was cool. I don't necessarily remember as much the Monster Bash or the USA Network Kids Club. I don't know if you do or not.
I remember USA Network Kids Club vaguely because I think they tried to tie it into Burger King Kids Club. I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that. But I remember it very vaguely. But, you know, like you've said, you know, the main part that I remember is the original run with the locomotive. I stopped watching it after that went away, and it changed to the bullet train.
For good reason.
Yeah. But it was just a great way to combine and catch up on cartoons you missed.
And it was a great way to relive cartoons that were no longer showing in new episodes.
Right.
I mean, you know, Cartoon Express wasn't showing a lot of new content. I mean, they did have some new stuff that you could watch, or at times they had shows that were in their later seasons that ended up showing new stuff on there. But basically it's a rerun cartoon block, but it's reruns of great shows.
Yeah.
And, you know, for us, you know, 80s children, it was the number one way to get exposed to classic animation, like Hanna-Barbera, like some of the Terry Toon stuff they showed. But I liked it mostly because there was no other way to watch Transformers. There was no other way to watch G.I. Joe after they had stopped airing new episodes, except for on the Cartoon Express.
Right.
This is before internet, people. This is before YouTube. This is before whatever else video type things there are on the internet. This is before DVDs. This is before the season sets were released. There was no other way to watch them. Cartoon Express was our internet, was our season set DVDs. You know, it served that purpose.
Yeah. Very much so it did.
And you might have got exposed to some cartoons that you missed when they were showing it live, too. I mean, I don't remember. I know I watched G.I. Joe and Transformers and, like, He-Man, that type of stuff when they were live, new episodes. But there might have been a couple of these shows where I caught for the first time on the Cartoon Express.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I watched Gem originally. Maybe I only caught it on Cartoon Express. I don't know if I caught, I don't know, like, I can't think of specific examples, but some of these, maybe even, you know, the lesser known things like the Shirt Tails or the Biscuits or, you know, GoBots or I don't know, like Denver and the Last Dinosaur. I don't know which ones I saw originally and which ones I was exposed to for the first time on Cartoon Express.
Yeah. I'm not really sure, but I remember this cartoon block very, very fondly. And I think outside of...
the only reason to turn on USA, actually, at the time.
Come on now.
Before Raw.
Hey, wait a second.
I mean, Raw wasn't around in the 80s, so, I mean...
Right.
In the 80s, was there another reason to turn on USA besides the Cartoon Express?
I'm trying to think here.
In the 90s, there was. In the 90s, they expanded. In the 90s, they had some primetime shows. They had, you know, the wrestling. They had other stuff. But I don't remember 80s. Was Up All Night on in the on USA? USA's Up All Night? When did that
I know
start?
it was in 1994 because I was in the hospital then and I was up all night with Up All Night. Anyway, let's not go there because that was USA's after hours programming.
Yeah, it was the best thing on USA in the 80s, I think, but it was Cartoon Express.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back. It actually, you know what? Honestly, seriously, I have, and I'm kind of getting off. I'll talk about that in the closing. Everything else, no, it's something I can talk about in the closing, so I don't want to drag it into the show topic. Is there anything else you wanted to say on USA Cartoon Express?
I know it would be impossible because of all the rights being owned by every individual shows, whoever owns them, etc., etc. But it would be cool just for nostalgic purposes if there was a Cartoon Express DVD that had the intro stuff, the bumpers, the commercials, the shorts, like in a minute, the music part, and just as much of a couple of the shows type things. I know they can't get rights for most of these shows, but it would be cool just to have some type of, maybe they could do it like as a documentary type thing or like a special features type thing, but I would love to see some type of Cartoon Express represented on some form of DVD.
I completely agree.
I don't know how they would do it, but it would be cool.
Yes, it would. And I think we are going to go to the outro. You're going to hear some ads, and we'll be back after this.
ToonCast will be back after these messages.
Did you know that Justin Bieber's actually Webster in a girl suit? Did you know that Teddy Ruxpin's friend Grubby actually a tapeworm?
Did you know that Gargamel was really a cat lady?
Did you know that Billy Zane is the only man to ever beat Chuck Norris?
If you didn't know any of these things, then you should be currently listening to Chicken Pop Pod, Retro Comedy Podcast. Catch it at chickenpoppod.com.
This is Dr. Wily, and I will destroy Mega Man while listening to ToonCast.
Do not be alarmed. This transmission is being jacked by the lunchroom. We are here to tell you that the lunchroom has been rebooted. It is now a part of the GeekCast radio network and is still available at thelunchroom.net. It debuts every Monday or Wednesday or whenever we see fit to give it to you. Any further information can be found at thelunchroom.net. We will now return you to your regular program.
Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight. I see a new episode of ToonCast coming this week.
Now back to ToonCast.
So, final thoughts on USA Cartoon Express.
I'm glad we added this into our schedule. I know it's not like a typical show for ToonCast because it's not an individual show, so we can't talk about, specifics too much. But I'm glad it's here because it definitely has a fond spot in my memory of cartoons when I was growing up. It served a great purpose, like we've mentioned, of showcasing old stuff and re-showcasing stuff that we had just seen a couple of years before. It's sad that it fell to the disease that was the 90s, and that it kind of tried to reinvent itself, and like everything that ever tries to reinvent itself usually falls flat on its face.
Yeah.
But, it couldn't last forever, and basically what I view Cartoon Express, every channel that has come out since then, because basically after Cartoon Express you had Cartoon Network, and within the last 10 years you've had channel after channel that's been trying to do the same thing. You've had that whatever Cubo or whatever it is, we've had Nicktoons, and we're like this fall when we get the Hub, every time we have one of those, before it starts, I hope that it's going to be as good as the Cartoon Express. So far it's never been repeated, but
the only one, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the only one that I would kind of argue for is Toonami.
That's true.
Toonami, outside of the anime shows that they showed on that block, Toonami was just awesome.
Yeah. But basically every time, I guess my point was, every time there is a channel that's going to be directly, dedicated to cartoons, I always harken back to, I remember what Cartoon Express was. I hope that's something like what they do. I know that's not going to be possible because there's always the focus is always on new stuff. But hopefully, I have high hopes for the Hub. They're going to be doing a lot of classic stuff. They're going to be going back. Unfortunately, they have a limited library because it is basically Hasbro. I know they're bringing some outside people in and doing other companies' stuff, but I always hope for another experience like the Cartoon Express. So. Hats off to Cartoon Express for being the first and being one of the best to do what they did.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion.
Very, very much so. So, thank you for joining us here on ToonCast. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on each post. Join the forums, PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter. GCRN ToonCast is the show Twitter. Mine is TFU and Mike. What is your Twitter?
Boss K-Dog.
Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network and Behind the Voice Actors. Call the voicemail...
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToonCast and wish you'll join us next time when I break my rule yet again on the time constraints when we will be talking about Titan AE, the only Don Bluth film that ToonCast will ever cover. For now, I am TFG and Mike with
Optimus Solo from BehindTheVoiceActors.com.
Thank you for listening until next time. Oh yeah, and that special announcement I was going to bring up once we get to the late 90s episodes, pretty much the last 6 episodes, because Kevin has no interest in the DC animated universe. He will probably not be on episodes 93 to 99.
Wah, everybody's sad out there, I know.
Defense shields have been penetrated. Enemy warships have entered Earth's solar system. Deploy the last wave of fighters. Taking heavy fire!
Final warning. Prepare for thermal attack.
Evacuate! Evacuate! Launch remaining escape craft.
Without a planet, we're no longer a threat.
Hey, it's me, it's Kale.
Humans.
Word.
The Titan was the key to finding a new homeworld. Your father hid the Titan. He knew the Dredge would come after him. The only way to find it is in your hand.
Me?
The Dredge wants you, only dead.
How do you know they want me dead? I happen to be humanity's last great hope.
I weep for the species.
Get down!
Titan AE.